That was why we created ArriveCAN, so that the United States, led by President Trump, would not fully close the border.
This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.
Oral questions.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Crisis of doubling housing costs and 22 million people forced to food banks, the Prime Minister could have followed our common sense plan to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget and stop the crime. Instead, he blew over $60 million on an ArriveCAN app that we didn't need, didn't work, sent 10,000 people erroneously into quarantine, losing income, all the while the thing costed 750 times more than the Prime Minister promised. Won't he stand up today and admit that the app is just like him? It's not worth the cost, it's not worth the corruption.
The Honourable Minister for Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, the Leader of the Opposition knows very well that the moment there were allegations around cost overruns or inappropriate contracting practices, the Canadian Border Services Agency immediately began an internal audit and made the appropriate referrals to the appropriate authorities. We take the obligation to manage taxpayers' money very seriously. Under no circumstances would we condone what the Auditor General determined to be contracting practices that did not follow the rules, and anybody who didn't will be held to account.
Absolutely. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Well, if he wants to hold someone to account for the ArriveCAN, why not hold the one person who had the authority to create the ArriveCAN and who had the authority to stop the ArriveCAN, and that's the Prime Minister of Canada. He is the government. This was a government program we warned wasn't needed, wouldn't work, and now we know it went 750 times over budget. 75% of the contractors did no work at all, but they did buy whiskey, and other treats for the top Liberal government officials. Again, won't the Prime Minister admit the app is just like him? Not worth the cost, not worth the corruption.
The Honourable Minister for Public Services.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As my colleague from Public Safety said earlier, we would like to thank the Auditor General and welcome her recommendations on the ArriveCAN application. Some of that report recommendations have already been implemented, some will soon be implemented, including the introduction of new measures to ensure that tasks and deliverables are clearly defined in future professional services contracts. We are committed to continuing to ensure that contracts are delivered in a fair, efficient and transparent manner.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
And again, the Prime Minister is hiding under a rock, refusing to stand up and explain himself after he blew $60 million on this ArriveCAN while Canadians cannot afford to eat, heat, or house themselves. This scam involved taking money that could have been used for border security, like scanning the 99% of shipping containers that go without any inspection from our ports with stolen cars, not to mention other things that Canadians could have done with that money. Instead, it stuffed the pockets of 75% of the contractors who did no work. Again, will the Prime Minister admit that the ArriveCAN is not worth the cost and not worth the corruption?
The Honourable Minister for Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, I'm surprised that the Leader of the Opposition would mention investing in border security when his government cut 1,000 officers that did the exact kind of work that he's now pretending he wants to invest in. When they eliminated 50% of the intelligence capacity in the Border Services Agency to work with local, provincial police and the RCMP. So, Mr. Speaker, we have no lessons to take in investing in border security from somebody who gutted the Border Services Agency.
What started out as an $80,000 app is now at $60 million, and the Auditor General can't confirm that it won't go higher. Will the Prime Minister come clean and tell us how much taxpayers are going to be truly fleeced for his ArriveCAN app?
The Honourable Minister for Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, once again, our government has, at the very first opportunity when these allegations were made, taken all of the appropriate steps to ensure that taxpayers' money is respected.
Speaker, it was that minister's department that hid the RCMP investigation from the Auditor General. Mr. Speaker, it was also his party that had those documents on Wednesday, and what did they do with it? They filibustered and then voted to excuse the witness.
Mr. Speaker, for 2 years, parliamentary committees have been investigating the cozy relationship between government officials and highly paid insiders. Documents tabled at committee show that the two-person in a basement firm GC Strategies were hosting dinners and whiskey tastings for the same government officials who were given multi-million-dollar contracts, all while government officials were getting mighty high bonuses. Can the chair of the mighty Government Operations Committee inform this House when the committee will next meet and when we will get answers for all Canadians?
The Honourable Chair of the Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Speaker, this Wednesday at Government Operations and Estimates, the Auditor General will be appearing on her ArriveCAN audit. Given today's report, we will be ordering the past and present Ministers of Public Safety, Procurement, Health, and Treasury boards, past and present, to answer for ArriveCAN mismanagement and waste. GC Strategies, who we now learned were paid $20 million, will be issued a summons ordering their appearance. The committee will call every witness and compel every document to hold the government to account on ArriveCAN.